Good evening, race fans, and welcome back. The Racing for Children's IndyCar series here on iRacing. Fun, competitive racing for charity. As always, welcome back, one and all. The Detroit Grand Prix here tonight. Racing around, sponsored by the Propane man himself, John Kasai. My name's James East on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the series, supporting a great cause for charity, as well as supporting the broadcast. As always, the Racing for Children's IndyCar series is not just an iRacing league. We're also racing to help raise awareness and funding to cure childhood cancer and blood disorders, and every week broadcasted live here on the Team Goon Squad channel. Right now, qualifying coming to a close. Looks like it's going to be Paul Gibson, the doctor, in the top spot. We got about 20 seconds left here in qualifying. And as always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as we get ready to fire things off here at the Propane Depot Grand Prix. Going to be interesting to see how these drivers do at Detroit. A lot of guys were struggling through practice. And out of the 18 drivers that have entered, 17 have put down a qualifying time thus far tonight. As we get ready to put them out on pit road. As a few more drivers finishing out the qualifying session. Looks like everybody except for Jason Miller, that number 9 machine, has been able to put down a time here tonight. Hopefully, we will still see him out on the grid joining the rest of the competitors. As it looks like everybody has cleared the racing surface. And qualifying officially has closed here at Detroit. Drivers sitting in their pit boxes waiting to get back out on track. Race officials doing a quick once over to make sure everything's good to go for tonight's main event. And speaking of main event, we've also got Joseph Penn up in the booth. He's going to be our acting race control for the evening, making sure things don't get too wild out on track. As oh my, what a long time for them to prepare this circuit and get ready for this main event. We had 17 drivers put down qualifying times. And it looks like we're getting ready to go. Yes, we are getting out onto the grid here tonight. Behind our iRacing safety car, let's go ahead and run through the grid for today's main event. Paul Gibson qualifying in pole position, the number 31 machine. Nickel Cop Car, the number 4, starting second. Colin Weatherholt will be third on the grid. Cameron Bidwell starting fourth. David Shutt starts fifth. Matthew Gosh starting sixth. John Kasai, the propane man himself, starting seventh. Chris Shieldsmith starts eighth. Jared Zigler starting ninth. Peter Rettinger starting 10th. Andrew Neri making his debut will be starting 11th. Nick Terrell starting 12th. Cycling back, Caleb Nelson starting 13th. Tyler Dugan starts 14th. Clinton Wiggins starting 15th. Marshall Newton, martial arts himself, starts 16th. Norman King starting 17th. And Jason Miller will round out the 18-car grid here tonight. And let's get ready to go racing. Waiting for everybody to get lined up behind that iRacing Porsche. Let us know out there. There we go, Detroit. Lots of crashes will happen here. Look at this part of the screen. The number 9 did get disqualified from the race. Jason Miller did not reach the 107% timed cutoff rule. Miller only put down a few laps. We did not see him get back out on track, so unfortunately he's going to be done and out for the evening. But keep it out at the bottom of your screen throughout tonight's broadcast. We'll get some tidbits, some heads up on any sort of penalties, or maybe behind-the-scenes info from our acting race control, Joseph Penn. So a nice little feature, getting that inside viewpoint for our drivers and fans alike. Here we go, getting ready to roll things out behind the safety car. It's going to be 51 laps here at Detroit. I'm not sure how. Just showed Caleb Nelson involved in an incident. I didn't see it pull up. He hasn't lost any position, so not sure what happened there that made that broadcast software get triggered by a race incident. It could have been a micro lockup on the brakes. We'll sometimes pull it up. And here we go. Lights are on. Away they go. Paul Gibson out front. Colin Weatherholt. Cop Car right behind. The number 4 machine. Cop Car loses the spot early on, falling back to third. Not a lot of room for error here at Detroit, as it looks like Cop Car taking a look at the inside line of Weatherholt, not quite able to get it. Here comes Bidwell, looking for a way through in the 56 machine. You've also got David Shutt, the 24, rounding out the top 5, as it looks like your top driver, Paul Gibson, getting a little bit of a breakaway there, as the field very quickly single file behind. Oh, a big moment for Weatherholt, stepping out the back end of the number 12 machine. Well, looks like our top 3 drivers are on the red tires. Panning back, though, to Jared Zigler, the 57. He's starting out on the hard compound here tonight. An interesting choice. Now, it looks like most of the field opting to come out on reds tonight. David Shutt in 5th, he's on a hard compound. Jared Zigler in 9th, also hard compound. Cycling back to Andrew Neri, Caleb Nelson running 11th and 12th. They're also in the hard compound. So about 5-6 drivers trying something a little bit different here. And let's see if that gamble pays out well for him. Going back up front, Weatherholt still has company from Cop Car. You can see, oh, there we go, Cop Car out on the outside line. Takes the position back from Weatherholt. Top 4 drivers all on the red soft compound. And your top 3 have already put a 1.2 second gap on Cameron Bidwell in 4th. For the most part, a little bit calmer start than we were expecting here at Detroit. You see somebody with a big blink back there. I think that may have been David Shutt's number 24 machine. So it looks like drivers being very respectful of the track conditions. Nobody wanted to push too hard too early. And as we said early on, not much room for mistakes here at Detroit. If you find yourself going around Very, very easy to block the track here, as Paul Gibson now has company from Cop Car. Nick Hill in the number 4 chasing the 31 of Gibson. Cop Car's closed that gap from a second down to 3/10. Further back in the field, it's Cameron Bidwell in 4th, also on the softs. He clicks off a 1:15.42, about a 10th faster than the rest of the field. But Cop Car squarely in the draft there of Gibson. Seems like it's going to be a mighty tough time to make any passes, as Gibson just narrowly glancing against the wall. You can see Colin Weatherholt, he's about 1.3 seconds back, but we've got problems further back in the field. Norman King finds himself, looks like he's left the front wing there. So he's going to limp it around to his pit box as quickly as he can. Let's take a quick look, see what happened to King. Looks like just a little bit too in, and probably the slowest crash you could have asked for, but unfortunately, these open wheel cars don't lend themselves well to any sort of impact, front, back, side to side. King is going to try and limp it around to see if he can get in his box, get that machine repaired, and get right back out there. Now here at the Racing for Children's IndyCar Series, we are out here for charity. The drivers will be given one fast repair to get back in on the action. Has more problems. Peter Rettinger has lost the front left, losing spots to Andrew Neri. Caleb Nelson, he's going to pull over. I think he's going to take a tow here. Yes, he does. Let's see what happened to the Austrian Peter Rettinger in that 44. Is it going to be a solo car incident? Is it going to be the same thing that happened to King? Almost identical. King makes it about 20 feet away from the impact, and then pop goes the wheelbase. And unfortunately, he will be done. Hopefully he can get that thing towed back out and try and get out there, as all these drivers are here to raise a little bit of money for the charity, the Racing for Children's. Up front, it's still Gibson, Cop Car, separated by about 0.3 of a second. This could very well be a battle of attrition tonight. Marshall Newton back out on track. Norman King has also rejoined the track surface. As I heard a little bit of contact there with the wall. Not sure if that was from Cop Car, maybe Bidwell, who's trying to track down Weatherholt in the battle for third. Checking in on those two, it's Weatherholt in the green and white number 12 machine. Bidwell in the gold and white 56. And again, everybody inside the top four here, all starting the race on the red compound. The softer compound. Oh, what's this? Marshall Newton finds himself going the wrong way. Looks like the car's relatively okay. Well done getting out of the way of traffic. Let's see what happened to our good friend with the martial arts. A little bit too much curbing, but that's what we were talking about. No room for error, as he very wisely locks up the brakes and pulls off track to avoid that incident. So well done to Marshall, getting right back out there. Checking back in with the Weatherholt and Bidwell. This is the battle for third. As you can see, Gibson and Cop Car, that's what a 1.5 second gap looks like to the top two drivers, to the very heated battle for third we have going on now. Now these two drivers have pulled about 2.2 seconds over fifth place David Shutt. Shutt starting the race on the hard compound, so he might be able to pull his way forward if these guys burn off tires a little prematurely. but two very distinct battles out on track. It's Gibson, Cop Car, your top two. Weatherholt, Bidwell, running third and fourth. And once again, the crash report lighting up as Caleb Nelson's taking a tow back to pit road. Horrifically wounded in the 07 machine. Let's see what happens to Nelson here. Man, just getting chewed up here. And then, yeah, the car seems like it wants to hold together. And Nelson, unfortunately, finishes her off, grabs the old Alt F4. On board with Cameron Bidwell's number 56 machine. Trying to track down Colin Weatherholt. And it looks like these two may be gaining a little bit of ground ever so slightly to Gibson and Cop Car out front. Yes, they've closed the gap as I think Gibson and Cop Car have caught traffic ahead. Ooh, this is going to be interesting to see how this one shakes up. Cameron Bidwell comes down pit road on lap 8. Something must be wrong. What happened to Bidwell? We'll try and get a report from maybe if we can get race control or one of the other drivers that's on the wall there to get us a quick shout out. Bidwell getting serviced in the Amsoil back 56. He's going to go back out on the black compound tires. That's going to be only the top three drivers left on red. It's Gibson, Cop Car, Weatherholt, 1, 2, 3. About a 2.5 second advantage over David Shutt in fourth. Shutt started the race on the hard compound tires. And already a bit of excitement, only 8 laps in. As we did get a report, Caleb Nelson and Marshall Newton have retired from this event. They are back into the virtual hauler. And I think Norman King is going to unfortunately join that list. And the number 28 machine, we saw him with one good impact early on, had to use that fast repair. Oh! I think that was Peter Redinger that snaked his way through, narrowly getting around there. And a little bit further back, you've got Jared Zigler tracking down Chris Shieldsmith, the number 22. This is a developing battle for 7th. Both drivers starting on the hard compound tires. For the most part, a lot of drivers have somebody out there to chase. One driver who's kind of in no man's land, Andrew Neri, sitting in 9th in his debut here at the Racing for Children IndyCar Series. The number 65 machine started off 11th, has worked his way up into 9th. And Andrew Neri running a special paint scheme for his wife, Grace, here tonight. Behind that cockpit, it says happy birthday on both sides for Miss Grace, so happy birthday to her. As Neri continues a strong charge in his debut here. Shieldsmith still has pressure from behind from Jared Zigler, about a half second separating the two. As I stand corrected, Shieldsmith started the race on the red compound, Zigler with the black. And Zigler starting to close the gap here. Definitely the tightest racing we have out on track between these two. Tyler Dugan heading down pit road in the 42 machine. And Dugan takes a toe back to pit road. He may be done. On board with Jared Zigler's 57 machine, trying to track down Shieldsmith. Shieldsmith, I believe, he has his eyes on John Kasai just ahead. Looked like Kasai had a bit of a bobble. At least I think that's Kasai. Yes, it is. The Propane man himself in the number 3 machine. As we get a report, Peter Renger has more problems. Looks like he's still pointing the right direction at least. So we'll go back to this very heated battle between Shieldsmith and Zigler. Zigler's tires may be finally coming up to temp here. Being a little bit more confident in his machine. As still 4/10 separating them, Shieldsmith able to hold on. As up front, Paul Gibson has extended his lead of about, looks to be about 3/4 of a second as we wait for the live timing to update. And look at that, gearbox to wing, Shieldsmith and Zigler are here to put on a show. And as we say that, Paul Gibson, your race leader, comes down pit road, 12 laps in. Shieldsmith actually put a little bit of a gap there. Oh no, Jared Zigler is going to come down pit road. We got Ether Social rating us over on the Twitch side of the broadcast. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you to the fans, support, and charity here tonight. The Racing for Children's IndyCar Series. As Nico Kopkar has a massive advantage. After Gibson comes down pit road on lap 12, he's in no man's land, 2.8 seconds up over Weatherholt. And Gibson left pit road with the hard compound, the black striped tires. Let's see how this one's going to go as the pit cycles start to break down. As it stands, your top 6 drivers have yet to come down pit road. And out of those 6, it's only David Shutt, the number 24 machine, who started on hard compound. As we say that, John Kasai, the number 3 machine, he's going to come down pit road. He started off on reds. I assume he's going to go out on the black compound. Kopkar has a 4.1 second advantage over Weatherholt. Let's check in though on David Shutt in the number 24 machine. The lone driver inside the top 5 went out on the hard compound rubbers underneath him. Holding on to a 3rd here. Going to be interesting to see how pit strategy plays out tonight at Detroit. As Shutt doesn't seem to be overdriving that number 24 machine, taking it nice and easy. Not running too aggressively here. Because as we've all seen, a lot of fast drivers went back home early. Colin Weatherholt running 2nd. He's going to come down pit road. The racing here tonight scheduled to run for about an hour. As, oh no, John Kasai has problems in the overshoot area. Kasai was running very strong early on. Let's see what may have happened to him. Take a quick peek to see what happened at number 3 machine. That's going to put him down about 5 spots from where he started. Now, it looked like he was in the runoff chute, so he maybe avoided any damage on that machine. And what's it going to be? Yes, Kasai, look at that wise move, realizes, hey, I'm not going to make it. And instead of trying to force it into the corner, took the runoff to play it safe, so well done there. And he will live to race on a little bit longer here at the Propane Depot GP. Oh, as I said that, we've hit Kasai with the commentator's curse. He lawn darts into the runoff. One more look for the fans at home. It happened so quickly. The same spot? I think it was not, but poor Kasai. You want to talk about bad luck. The commentator's curse strikes again. Just talking so highly of the Propane Depot sponsored number 3 machine. And then he boots it into the wall here. Now it looks like we just got a report as well. Cameron Bidwell had problems. Not any damage on that machine, but we're seeing a lot of drivers. Bidwell's on the hard compound. He came out. He's on the odd. The broadcast software shows him on blacks, but those are definitely red tires on the side. Very odd. Not sure why it's reporting him on the hard compound when visual references say otherwise. And he's 8 laps on this set, so they should be good and up to operating temps as it stands. As Cop Car checking out front, 8.7 seconds. Now your top 4, Cop Car, Shutt, Gosh, Shieldsmith, have yet to come down pit road tonight. And most of those drivers still have those push-to passes saved up in case they need them. As here we go, the battle for 7th. Cameron Bidwell, Andrew Neri side by side. Looks like Neri's going to yield the spot there to Bidwell. And now Bidwell, though, will still be down 3 spots from where he originally started. Ooh, who is that? I think that was Neri. Bagging the wall. Doesn't appear he has any suspension damage, but we'll keep giving updates on that for the number 65 machine. Neri in his debut up 3 spots in the happy birthday painted number 65. And here comes Jared Zigler. I was going to say closing the gap. Zigler edges into the wall, trying to track down Neri. Zigler on softs, Neri on hard compound. Neri has not come down pit road tonight, so he's on 17-lap old tires. Neither driver have used the push-to-pass so far here this evening. Oh, and it looks like Neri tags the wall once more. That's going to allow Zigler by. Clinton Wiggins coming down pit road for his first stop of the night. Oh, Zigler almost compounding some mistakes. And look at that. Here comes Nick Terrell, the number 81. He's up 2 spots tonight. Started on hard compounds, has yet to come down pit road. And he is a wily endurance racer. So I think for Terrell in that 81, not going to be too uncomfortable on worn out tires. Playing into a fuel run. This is where he thrives at. And I'm very excited to see what some of these guys I've called and raced against them in a bunch of endurance races, what they can do here with differing strategies to try and make something happen. Clinton Wiggins rolling back out on track as Chris Shieldsmith comes down pit road. And it looks like Terrell trying to track down Neri's 65 machine. 8/10 in closing between the two. Those drivers have to be very mindful not to put the power down prematurely. These Indy cars, a whole lot of horsepower underneath them. As here we go, Terrell has caught up to the back of Neri. And what a great shot, showing just how aggressive. Looks like Neri may yield the position here. Neri and Terrell have raced each other a whole lot in endurance racing, as well as frequently finding themselves in officials together. So knowing who you can trust to go wheel to wheel with is, I'd say, about half the battle at times. As it looks like things have calmed down ever so slightly. We check in on your race leader, Nickel Kopkar, has ran just about 19 laps, getting ready to make it 20 on those reds underneath them. Has yet to come down pit road here at Detroit. We've got 10 drivers still on the lead lap. Looks to be about 13 of the 18 that started still out there rolling. John Kasai, Tyler Dugan, Caleb Nelson, Marshall Newton, all back to the virtual hauler early, and Jason Miller, who unfortunately had very tough luck in qualifying, didn't even get the chance to shine out here this evening. Now I'm curious to see how long is Kopkar going to stay out here for. As we've got more problems towards the back. Through the Continental corners, Norman King finds himself facing the wrong way. It's going to be an exciting moment as he tries the three-point turn. Oh, don't go out yet, King. Here comes the field, and we are going to have a full course caution, as King is in such a dangerous position here. Not able to get the number 28 machine turned around. There's the 44 of Rettinger. And like a scene reminiscent of an Austin Powers movie, King finally gets it pointed back forward. But let's take a look and see what happened to the 28 machine to bring out our first safety car of the night. Norman King with Mustard Seed Racing. Trying to see where he loses it in that Nemesis Labs back 28. So far, so good. Through the Continental corner. I was wondering, does he grab too much curbing here or try and get the throttle down early? Looks like a little bit of both. Gets the car a little bit unsettled. And if I was a betting man, oh, what a great shot. Norman King loops it out of the Continental corner. Does he keep it off the wall? Yes, he does. Norman King able to save the car here. And that will be our first safety car of the night. And how is this going to affect strategy? Your top three Kopkar, Shutt, Gosh, have yet to come down pit road. 21 laps into this main event. Uh-oh, something happened to Peter Rettinger. Takes a tow back to pit road. Oh no, I think Rettinger crashed under caution. Ooh. Little bit too far to track left. And unfortunately, Peter Rettinger takes a tow back to pit road. He will most likely be out for the evening. So it's going to be interesting to see how that safety car mixes things up. And while we are rolling around under eye-pacing conditions, again, thank you all tuning in, supporting the league as well as the charity Racing for Children's. We're all out here for a great cause each and every Tuesday night. We've got the Discord linked on YouTube as well as chat commands on Twitch. Thank you to Nemesis Labs coming on board as a title sponsor this season. Simulation and Gaming Solutions, check them out, Nemesis Lab. We've got Martial Arts providing all the graphics here this season. Points overlays, sweet graphics. You name it, Martial Arts can take care of you. The race sponsor for tonight, Propane Depot, based out of Texas with John Kasai and family. Coming on board, they're supporting the broadcast as well as the charity. So again, thank you all so much for the sponsors coming on board, supporting such a fantastic cause, as well as the fans from around the world that tune in each and every week. We couldn't do it without you guys, and if we did, it'd be a whole lot less fun. Cop car, shut. Gosh, all down pit road. Looks like Paul Gibson and Colin Weatherholt are going to stay out here. So it looks like Cop Car, Shut, Gosh will now be running 5th, 6th, 7th. It's going to be Gibson and Weatherholt starting 1st and 2nd. Jared Zigler's worked his way up to 3rd. Chris Shieldsmith worked back up to 4th. Top 2 drivers on hard compound. Jared Zigler in 3rd will be on the Reds. Everybody rocking and rolling under eye-pacing conditions here at Detroit. That's how much corner speed that iRacing safety car is able to carry. Those Porsches hooking up well here tonight, it looks like. But I think this is what Paul Gibson, I don't think he's too upset with this caution. He's going to be back out front. He's going to have clean air ahead of him. But keep an eye out, Jared Zigler running 3rd, has the Reds underneath him. As well as Cop Car back in 5th, also having Reds. So there's going to be some drivers looking to get going early on as the pace car is in. And the green flag is out once more at Detroit for the Propane Depot GP. And I think that's going to be short-lived. There's carnage everywhere. And the safety car immediately rolls back out. Shieldsmith, Cop Car involved in that one. Oh, this is going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see where things went wrong. We're watching Chris Shieldsmith, the number 22 machine. Also trying to find Cop Car in the number 4. There's the green flag. What goes wrong here into turn 1? Oh, Cop Car, I think, just drilled him. And there is parts everywhere. It is a yard sale here at Detroit. Oh, you just can't park there. We're going to watch this one once more from Cop Car's point of view. The number 4 machine. It's a pretty decent launch, crossing under the start-finish line. Flagman, that's Barney putting in overtime. I don't know if Cop Car just went in way too deep there, or maybe Shieldsmith was checking up, expecting some opening lap carnage, but look at the parts just absolutely flying everywhere. And unfortunately, both Cop Car and Shieldsmith will be taking a tow back to pit road, unable to make it under their own power. That will be our second caution of the evening. We're still rolling around under eye-pacing conditions. The second full course caution. As David Shutt takes this opportunity, he's going to come down pit road. We're rapidly dwindling that list of drivers on the lead lap. Everybody just kind of hanging out here. David Shutt. It'll be interesting to see what tires he rolls out on. So I think that's going to whittle it down to 8 drivers on the lead lap. It'll be interesting to see if Cop Car and Shieldsmith can get back out on track here. Hopefully they can. We get ready to send them back out behind the iRacing safety car. The Propane Depot Grand Prix having all sorts of excitement. And we did get a report, looks like Cop Car is done and out for the evening. Shieldsmith still sitting in pit road. Looks like Shieldsmith rolling out of pit road. In his stall for 5.5 minutes, he's going to try and salvage a bit of points here. And away they go. Paul Gibson taking the green flag. Paul Weatherholt second. Jared Zigler third. We will try this once more to see if things can get a little bit cleaner for our drivers. Panning back to Nick Terrell. He's in the meat grinder. He's got Andrew Neri, David Shutt right behind him. Shutt makes a pass on Neri for the 6th place position. Shutt coming out on relatively fresh red tires. And oh no, they start stacking up and grinding. Shutt gets a little bit of help there. No, who was that right ahead? That lap traffic? Yeah, that's going to be Clinton Wiggins, the 26 machine. Giving a hearty shove from David Shutt. Andrew Neri, Nick Terrell going to try and make their way through. Poor Wiggins, he was surrounded by an absolute hornet's nest there. Now Matthew Gosh, Nick Terrell will be battling for the 7th place position as the field ahead starts to stretch out ever so slightly. Well, let's see if Gosh has anything in the back pocket for Nick Terrell. And we get a report from race control lap 20, the number 28 will receive an EOL for causing yellow without contact. That's going to be Norman King, the 28. Uh-oh. What happened to Gosh? A big blink there. And the number 4 of Cop Car receiving a drive-through for that penalty. But I think Cop Car, he's already put it back in the hauler. He's done it out for the evening for bringing out that second caution, so he will not be serving the penalty here today. Up front, still Paul Gibson leading Colin Weatherholt by about 3/4 of a second. 25 laps left to go here in Detroit. And such great camera angles here in Detroit as well as Gibson hold on to the lead. But it looks like Weatherholt closing the gap, finding a 10th here, a 10th there on that number 31 machine out front. But Gibson's going to answer the fastest lap of the race, a 1:15.27, and he has yet to hit that push-to-pass button here. He's got 10 of them left in reserve. Weatherholt has used his once. And you can see Jared Zigler still holding on to that 3rd place position. Now Gibson and Weatherholt on the hard compound rubber. Zigler on the softs. It will be interesting to see how this one shapes out as Zigler has not come down to box since lap 11. It looks like Gibson does something right there, pulling the gap even larger to about 1 second over the 2nd place of Weatherholt. A good shot showing not a lot of room here for any sort of mistakes, and we've seen that happen a bunch. A single problem is all it takes to send it careening around. And talking about problems, Wiggins, number 26 machine, will bring out the caution. He's also parked perpendicular to the track there. The 3rd caution with 23 to go, trying to get it back the right direction. IndyCar is not known for their parallel parking prowess. Say that 3 times fast, ladies and gentlemen. As we take a look to see what happened to Wiggins in the 26 machine. Oh, where's it going to be at? Was it on the brakes? That's kind of where I was expecting. We've seen so many drivers have problems there tonight. Car looks a little bit unsettled into the left-hander. And yes, trying to put the power down and spins it around, a pretty hard impact that back right into the wall. But Wiggins able to limp it around under his own power. Looks like the back right may be okay here. As we roll around as the field catches up to the safety car. As it looks like the field's caught up to the car. Is anybody going to come down pit road here to try and change strategy? If these guys have some reds left behind the wall, they may be able to make it the rest of the length here on that soft compound, but it's going to be close. We've seen some drivers coming in very early, starting off on the reds. So plenty of time for drivers to make a move and try and figure out what strategy they may or may not change here. I was waiting to see, does anybody opt to come down pit road? Looks like, yes, a large portion is going to come down pit road. Looks like so far the top 8 all coming down. And away goes Gibson. Looks like he's rolling out on hard compound. Weatherholt will do the same. Got the Scrubby Scrub. Join us on the Twitch side of the broadcast. Thank you for joining, supporting the show as well as the charity event. So let's see, did Jared Zigler roll out on reds? Yes, he did. He's going to try to stretch it to the end here. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how strategy pays out. Everybody on fresh tires underneath in the top 2 opting to go for the harder compound. Third through what looks to be about 6th place, all on the softer compound, the red stripes on the side of the tires. It's going to be a 20-lap shootout, but we've had a spree of cautions, 3 so far. As we wait for that iRacing safety car to make its way down pit road. We had a good question from one of the fans saying, hey, what's the top speed out of these guys here in Detroit? We've seen trap speeds hit at speeds excess of 170 miles an hour. And to be fair, that could be using a little bit of draft, a little bit of push to pass action, but hey, 170 miles an hour on a road course is absolutely ripping in these Indy cars. iRacing safety car should be making its way down pit road. The Weatherholt trying to get a little bit of heat in those hard compound tires, sitting in second. Pace car gets ready to dive down pit road. We look to Barney, our flagman, to signal the restart of this race. And away goes Gibson, Weatherholt, Zigler, Shutt, Neri, your top five. Our charger right now is Jared Zigler in third place at 57 machine. He is up 6 positions. No, I take it back. It's Norman King in 10th. He's up 7 spots so far. Oh no, it's going to be another big one. The caution is out. David Shutt, Jared Zigler, Norman King. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is going to be a violent one. Zigler the 57, Shutt the 24. Side by side. What happens here? Looks like Zigler goes track left, hooks the wheels, and both drivers plow the right side of the track, but this is where it gets extremely dangerous. Everybody else locks up to try and avoid. There's Norman King, the 28. No, excuse me, the 81 of Nick Terrell. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can grab that from one other angle. So we're on board with Nick Terrell's 81 machine. We were just talking about how fast these drivers can get going here on the road circuit of Detroit. So we're on board the Pony Express number 81, Nick Terrell. Look to the smoke, rise ahead underneath the Penske sign. The two come together. It's going to be a tough one for race control to call on that one. And next thing you're going to know is just a big plume of smoke, and Nick Terrell will have front row seats to decide where are we going to try and go. As it looks like both drivers getting ready to bounce back across the track. Terrell locks up the brakes, looks for an opening that doesn't arrive. Well done to Terrell. Able to save it there, locking up, having the foresight. As Jared Zigler comes down pit road. Zigler using his one fast repair in and out in 8 seconds there. Shieldsmith. Oh no, it's the 24 of David Shutt. He's got really bad problems. Look at the front right. That thing's gotta feel like you're driving a box of marbles. Let's go to onboard here. Whoop, 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 whoop goes David Shutt's number 24. That front right holding on by thoughts and prayers at this point. But he's going to try and limp it around the pit road to not waste that toe. And I think Shutt's still going to have a fast repair. He's not out of it yet. But look at this. It's Andrew Neri, the 2065 machine, excuse me. Looking to be in podium contention. His debut event here at the Racing's for Children's IndyCar Series. I would not, I am not envious of race control with that one. That's going to be a tough incident to call, I think. I can't tell who's at fault or if it's just a racing incident. But we did have another great question. Can a incident be decided as a no fault? Yes. Historically, they'll call that just a racing incident or a no fault call. And while we have time, and boy do we, take one more look at that one. We're watching Jared Zigler, the black and red, David Schutt, the purple and yellow. It looks to me like Schutt may come up in the line there, but again, that's a very tough call to make. Let's see if we can get our overhead, a chopper cam. This could be the moneymaker right here. To watch, we're looking at the white line in the middle of the track, ladies and gentlemen. I think that one's going to be on Schutt, but it'll depend on if race control sees the same thing we do up here in the booth. It's going to be a tough one to call. If I had to make a call, I think I'd put that one on Schutt, but thankfully, I'm just the broadcaster, and I don't have to handle any of the tough calls here tonight. If I'm wrong up here in the booth, the fans laugh and point. But if race control makes a mistake or a errant judgment, he gets a little bit more backlash than me. Separate booths, different responsibilities. Fans kind of in agreement with my assessment, but... And it will get called. David Schutt, the number 24 machine, will get a drive-through, getting faulted by race control. Now I wonder, does that have to be served under green flag conditions? I would imagine so. It's going to be 18 laps left to go. Our fourth full course caution of the night, rolling that safety car. And if you're just tuning in, first of all, thank you. And second of all, where you been? As you missed a whole lot of action. But if any of these drivers put themselves in a precarious spot where the track may be blocked, or if there is a certain number of cars involved in an incident, race control does have the right to throw out the caution and roll that safety car to get the track cleaned up. And so far, every time that safety car has been out, I believe it has been well warranted. What great timing, by the way, answering the questions as they come in by accident here. Hopefully I answered that question properly up here in the booth. Safety car is in. 9 drivers on the lead lap. Green flag is out. It's Paul Gibson, Colin Weatherholt, Andrew Neri, your top 3. Top 2 drivers on the hard compound. Andrew Neri on softs in 3rd. Very quickly, the top 2 starting to pull away, and I think I just saw somebody bin it. That was Cameron Bidwell. I don't think the caution's going to come out here. Bidwell out of the line of traffic. I think he's going to take a tow back to pit road. Yes, he does. That will allow Gibson and Weatherholt to continue charging forward up front. They have pulled about a 3/4 of a second over Andrew Neri in 3rd, but Neri with his debut here. Just has me happy, and now we're starting to see the board light up. The push to pass is coming into play. Weatherholt hitting the magic button. Gibson out front still has 10 left. Andrew Neri has his saved, but David Schutt, Jared Zigler find themselves together once more. Oh, Schutt drills the car. Where'd he go? What just happened? Judd looking for an outside line against Zigler, throws it in crazy deep, blocks it up, and unfortunately just threw it in way too deep there. Overheated the tires. You can see him spin in the next corner as well. And my, oh my, what a good time to grab the magic button as we were about to see something absolutely violent. So let's take a bit of a recap, a big breathing moment together, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Gibson, Colin Weatherholt, still holding on 1 and 2. Gibson has yet to use the push to pass. Weatherholt has 8 button presses remaining. They've gained about a 2-second gap on Andrew Neri in third. We had a massive pile up with David Schutt, Jared Zigler. Looks like Nick Terrell has also had a return to pit road after an incident. And generally the penalties here for road coursing will be a first incident caused an EOL, a second incident will be a drive-through, and I believe if you've caused 3 incidents, you are parked for the remainder of the evening. And that will carry over to our oval races as well as our road courses here at the Racing for Children's IndyCar Series. Now, I don't think that was lag that we saw David Schutt retire from the race surface. I believe he Alt F4'd, as we would call that in the business. And very thankfully he did, otherwise that would have been a massive pileup. So he had the foresight to realize, hey, this is about to get very bad very quickly. Otherwise the field would have come barreling in. Race control notes the number 24 and 57 incident will be reviewed in post-race. Penalties will be awarded if need be. Gibson out front still hasn't hit the magic button. Weatherholt has 6 presses remaining with 14 laps left to go here at Detroit. And we didn't get confirmation from race control. Unable to serve any penalties under yellow, has to be done under green flag racing conditions. As the top 2 have stretched out, Gibson's pulled a 1.3 second gap over Weatherholt. Andrew Neri in third. He's starting to get company from Matthew Gosh, the number 21 machine. I think you can bank on Andrew Neri willing to push it here, wanting to score well in his debut event in that number 65 machine. As Matthew Gosh continues to try and close the gap in the 21. Now coming into tonight, Colin Weatherholt running second is first in points. Paul Gibson, first on track, is second in points. So it's going to be very interesting how this shakes up with the points if they can finish 1 and 2 as they currently are. And here we go, the battle for third. Matthew Gosh at the inside line of Neri. Neri tries to fire back at the chicane, but Gosh is going to pull away here using the push to pass to try and break out of the draft from Neri. Looks like a little bit of traffic there behind Neri. Not quite sure who that is. Right behind the number 65 machine. But Neri has not used the push to pass so far tonight. Drivers have 10 presses of the magic button to get a little bit of extra juice out of these IndyCar machines. But Neri able to keep that 21 of Gosh within a half-second striking distance. Gosh on the hard compound tires, Neri the soft compound. 13 laps left to go here at Detroit. And this is definitely the closest battle we have out on track, but as I say that, things are starting to tighten up just a little bit up front. Weatherholt's closed the gap back down to 9/10 of a second to Paul Gibson, your race leader. Weatherholt wants to hold on to the points lead, leading after tonight at Detroit. And with 12 laps left to go, I think he's still got some time to try and make it happen. Now next week we go to the Grand Prix of Montreal for 48 laps, another road course. And then August 30th will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course for 62 laps. And also, don't forget, September 3rd, the Indianapolis 500 presented by Nemesis Lab, 200 laps around the rectangle brickyard. Laps left to go. Gibson extends the gap back to 1.3 seconds. Looks like Jared Zigler is catching up to Shieldsmith's number 22 machine in the battle for 5th. Let's see, can Zigler whittle away at that 1 second advantage that Shieldsmith currently has in the 22 machine. Shieldsmith was in pit road on lap 23 for 5.5 minutes, getting that machine hammered back into strength, but I think Zigler's got a little bit of problems as well. A little bit of a beat-up race car in the 57 machine. There's going to be 2 wounded drivers battling for the top 5 here as the laps are rapidly clicking off at Detroit. But still plenty of time for mistakes. Still time for some of these racers to throw away a perfectly good race car. And just like that, the gap closed to 0.4 of a second between Shieldsmith and Zigler in the battle for 5th. Zigler up 3 spots from where he started, so is Shieldsmith. Zigler here for every single point he can gain. Look into that back wing of Shieldsmith. Both drivers have yet to use the push-to-pass function. And which of the drivers has the nicest race car underneath them? Shieldsmith mashes the button. Oh no, excuse me, that was the 5th time Shieldsmith has hit the magic button. Zigler still has 10 in his back pocket. So what moment is Jared Zigler going to wait for in the 57 machine as the rest of the field fairly stretched out at this point? And how would the tire wear be for Zigler with that soft compound? Shieldsmith 0.4 ahead on the hard rubber underneath them. And again, we think both drivers' cars not exactly pristine at this point of the race. Oh, here we go. The gap down to 0.3, making the way to the final corner. Zigler right off the gearbox of Shieldsmith. Who is going to make the least amount of mistakes here? 9 laps left to go as we continue watching the battle for 5th. Your race leader, Paul Gibson, checking out 2.5 seconds ahead of Weatherholt. And for the first time tonight, looks like Zigler hits the button using the push-to-pass. Is Zigler going to wait out, maybe measuring up Shieldsmith here to see where the best passing opportunity could present itself? And maybe not wanting to show his cars too early if they think they're even on pace. Zigler hits the button once more. Measuring how much time he can make. Here comes Zigler up the inside line. Almost too deep. Shieldsmith's going to fire it back to the left. There's contact between the two. Zigler gets pushed wide, but he holds on to the position. Jared Zigler takes over the 5th place spot after a little bit of bumping and grinding between the two. Don't count out Shieldsmith. He's going to fire back in that 22. Now we're talking. We've got some racing going on. Zigler's going to try and put his head down, stretch his legs, and break the gap to Shieldsmith. And it looks like he may do so. 1.1 second up over Shieldsmith. Shieldsmith, though, presses the magic button, starts to close the gap once more. And that may still shape up here later. Heading back to check in on Paul Gibson, your race leader. He's 2.6 seconds up over Weatherholt. Weatherholt, 7 seconds ahead of Matthew Gosh. And it looks like Gibson maybe backing out of it a little bit here. He's about a second off his fastest lap of the race. I think he knows he's got a very comfortable margin, 2.5 seconds ahead. He has all of his push-to-pass options available to him. So maybe just trying to save those tires a little bit in the 31 machine and keep on trucking. He'll talk to his spotter and crew chief, knowing Weatherholt is smashing the button behind to try and close that 2.3 second advantage that Gibson currently has here. Cameron Bidwell joining us in the spectator area as well, the number 56 pilot. Good to have him joining the action over on the YouTube side of the broadcast. And Shieldsmith, that 100% optimism out there. 7 laps left to go. Weatherholt has closed the gap down to about 1.9 seconds, but he used a lot of push to pass to make that happen. I would think would be a contributing factor. We don't rightly know what Gibson might have left in the tank, as he has not hit the button so far tonight. And Gibson just blitzing fast here tonight. Not having any issues, any problems. Gibson looking for his first win. Weatherholt looking for his 3rd so far this season. Barney watches on from above, knowing there's just 6 laps left to go. And the scoreboard, the live timing tower left side of your screen, shows what type of night we have had. Where it is 6 drivers on the lead lap, 9 still out on track, and 8 drivers who were forced into a early retirement here tonight. The Propane Depot Grand Prix chewing them up and spitting them out, ladies and gentlemen. Gibson, a 1:16.66 his last time by. Weatherholt at 1:16.9. So Gibson's got something figured out. Right as I say that, a slight bobble out of the 31-year race leader. But I think Gibson focusing on consistency here so he can bring that 31 machine nice and clean till the end. He qualified on pole. He wants nothing more than to finish in the top spot. Five laps left to go here at Detroit. It's Gibson, Weatherholt, Gosh. Your top 3, Andrew Neri, Jared Zigler rounding out the top 5. Our Charger still Andrew Neri out on track. He's up 7 spots in the 65. And again, Neri kind of in, as I say that, I was going to say no man's land. I think that's traffic right ahead of Neri. We saw a big lockup out of that number 65 machine. He does not want to get tied up here because Jared Zigler only a second back in the 57, and Zigler showing all sorts of aggressiveness here this evening. As it looks like Zigler mashes the button, he can see a position ahead of him. There's Jared Zigler, the number 57 machine, stalking Andrew Neri. Neri may have cooked those tires slightly with that big lockup we saw to avoid tagging what I would assume is lap traffic. I can't tell who that is. Is that Norman King? No, that's Nick Terrell in the 81 machine, just ahead of Neri and Zigler. And that gap has drastically closed down to about, it was 6/10. Neri finds a little bit of time there, and Chris Shieldsmith having to come down pit road late in the race. Both Neri and Nick Terrell mashing the magic button. Terrell just trying to stay a little bit further up in the standings, not going an additional lap down to traffic. And Jared Zigler smells blood in the water for that 4th place spot. Both Neri and Zigler on the soft compound. Zigler hits the button once more. Neri's got 7 left in reserve. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Zigler with a big lunge to the inside line, shoving the door on Neri. Neri gets all sorts of loose out of the corner. And Zigler will take over the 4th place spot, making it 5 positions gained so far. Now Zigler's still going to be about 6 seconds behind Matthew Gosh. So as I say that, I think Gosh had a big bobble. Now it's 4 seconds. 3 laps left to go. If Zigler can find a little bit of luck, he's still in podium contention here. So somehow, I think with a little bit of a help from the push-to-pass, Jared Zigler closing the gap to Matthew Gosh. Andrew Neri also lighting up the button. We could very well have a race develop here. Neri closing the gap back to Zigler. Zigler trying to close the gap to Gosh, but that is a large disadvantage to overcome this late in the race. 3 laps left to go. Neri may be able to make it happen to catch up to Zigler. As I say that, no. No for Andrew Neri. Neri using the push-to-pass. No, that was Chris Shieldsmith. Neri horrifically wounded, has unfortunately knocked himself out of the race here, as he's able to pull into pit road. What if he has a fast repair left? That would be extremely impressive. And while that was happening, Matthew Gosh has extended that gap to Zigler to 4 seconds flat. And so as high as 4.3 that last time by. Chris Shieldsmith, who had a very late race pit stop on lap 47, has eked his way back into the top 5. As Bidwell said, the Optimist might be able to pull home a top 5 here just out of attrition. White flag is out for Paul Gibson. Gibson running almost uncontested late in the race, and for the first time using that push to pass. Gibson making his way around the back half of the track for the final time this evening. Realizing, hey, I still have some magic buttons left to play with. Mashing the loud pedal. Gonna be interesting to see what type of lap time he puts down here, but I can't imagine he pushed too hard with an almost 4-second gap in the final lap. Last thing he wants to do is throw it away here. Looks like a little bit of traffic ahead of him. I think that's Clinton Wiggins with the 26 machine still out on track. Clicking off laps, getting the seat time, and scoring some points. Andrew Neri got back out on track after getting the car halfway drivable. He's going to try and salvage a 7th place spot. And the checkered flag will fly. Paul Gibson picking up his first win of the season here at the Propane GP. Colin Weatherholt will finish second. And Matthew Gosh will round out the top 3. As Gibson enjoys his time in the limelight. No burnout, though. We'll talk to him about that up here in the podium speeches. We're going to wait on Paul Gibson, Colin Weatherholt, Matthew Gosh to make their way up into the broadcast booth. Still waiting on Matthew Gosh, that number 21 machine. Looks like the gang is all here. We're going to get things fired up with the number 21 machine. Matthew, great race out there. Seemed like it got a little bit violent, though, as about the halfway mark of the race. Oh, Matthew, I can't hear you.
Yeah, it was super aggressive there.
Kind of cutting in and out, brother.
You got me now?
Yeah, 5x5. Uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it definitely got aggressive there towards the middle. A lot of jockeying for position pretty early in the race.
Now, Matthew, we're seeing some drivers kind of use the old magic button to push to pass early on. Some drivers waiting till late in the race. And did you have a strategy with that one, or were you just kind of developing it as the race went on here tonight?
I was saving mine to the end. I think I ended it with 7 left, so I barely used any. I didn't really have anything for Colin or Paul, and I was just really making sure the guy behind me was within, a second and a half, 2 seconds.
And Matthew, talking about that, I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 laps left to go. We saw the lap or the split difference between you and Zigler rapidly close for a second. Did you have a bobble there at the end? Because we didn't pick it up on the broadcast.
I was coming through 1 and 2, and my computer stuttered real bad, and I thought I hit the wall. It checked up big time, so luckily, no issue.
Well, awesome, Matthew. A great race all the way around, up 3 spots from where you qualified. A clean race car where a lot of drivers can't say the same after Detroit, and a very well-deserved podium finish. Before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make this evening possible for you?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to guys at PG13. Trent Brown really helped me out this week with some practice objectives. Rod and Chris at Velocity RC, Control F12, and American Wheelman.
Awesome. Matthew, a great time talking to you. Hope to see you with more continued success, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. That was Matthew Gosh finishing the 3rd place position. Up next, no stranger to podium speeches, Colin Weatherholt bringing home a 2nd, up 1 spot, a relatively clean race car in the PG13 machine. Take us through what happened tonight from your point of view, because it got mighty exciting at some points.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Got a decent qualifying spot. Kept the nose clean. I knew I didn't want to contest with Nikhil too much at the beginning. I wanted him to run up there with Paul because I knew Paul was a little bit quicker. So kind of let him go there on the first stint. Wanted him to start battling, and it didn't really work out in our favor. I ended up pitting him before Nikhil did, and just got track position on some pit stops with some yellows, and kept the nose clean. Brought it home 2nd.
Now, Colin, talking about yellows and talking about keeping the nose clean, everybody starts these events with a strategy in mind. How do you make different calls when the yellows start coming out and it looks like it's going to be a reoccurring issue? How does that affect you and the team to try and make any calls and maybe adjust for those incidents?
Yeah, we're always pretty prepared for some audibles to be called. I think we talk about it a little bit before, and if a caution comes out here, then we'll switch to this. But really, it's just about running the tires that you put under the car until you start bleeding enough time that you think you should pit, and not wait too long and maybe get caught out by a caution. So that way you can keep track position after the restarts. Because when you're in the back of the pack at the restarts, man, it gets gnarly, as we saw tonight.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I think 3 very quick cautions and a whole lot of bodywork strewn across Detroit. Just like downtown, yeah, it feels like home for everybody here tonight. But Colin, a great race, all things, man. Kept the car clean. You and the team did fantastic. A good points night for you as well. I think you'll be able to retain the lead after tonight. So, going to be interested to see as this season's looking tighter and tighter every time you guys get out on track. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this evening possible?
Yeah, just a shout out to you and everybody else at Racing for Children's IndyCar Series and the whole PG-13 team. I say it every week, but we work really hard and it shows. So I'm really proud of us tonight. And congrats to Matt and Paul as well.
Awesome. Well said, Colin. Hope to have you back up here next week, and always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, James.
That was Colin Weatherholt bringing home second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Gibson for the first time this season. Welcome to the top spot, and what a dominant run for both you and the team here this evening at Detroit.
Yeah, that turned out really well. Our little league that we run just was here this past week, so we've all got a million laps around here, so we're really familiar with it.
Now, Paul, we were talking to Colin, we were talking to Matthew about how do strategies develop and what do you do when the cautions come out. But on the flip side, this was a track we expected the safety car to come out. Were you expecting it to come out so late in the race after things were so fast and green for the majority of the opening half?
Yeah, after we made it through the first half of the first lap, I was surprised that we were still green, actually. But yeah, we ran green for the longest time there. And so my strategy was just to get off the reds after 10 laps or so, and then just run blacks with one more stop to the end no matter what. So that worked out all right.
Now, Paul, does you and the rest of the team kind of have the same strategy, or some of the guys want to try something a little bit different?
So I think that was probably the primary strategy for most of us. But if some of our guys were stuck back 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place, at that point you got to try and do something different, to the guy in front of you, because it's hard to pass here. And so sometimes it helps to go, alternate pit strategy and jump them in the pits, and then try, hold them off on the track after that. But I know David jumped on reds, I think, at the end, but the rest of us were on black. So I think most of us kind of stuck with that primary strategy of running 10, 12 laps on reds and then blacks the rest of the way.
Excellent. Paul, I guess my final question for you tonight, what's more nerve-wracking, being at the front of the field during one of those sprees of cautions or being at the back and watching it unfold? Which one's a little bit more anxiety-inducing?
Definitely the back, because you never know when you're coming around a corner and the track is blocked. So I'll do whatever I can to be more towards the front, just to kind of stay away from any of those, possible wrecks towards the back.
Well, Paul, a great run out there, qualified in the top spot, finishing the top spot, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the points shape up after tonight. I don't know if Colin will retain the lead, but regardless, it's going to be very close and maybe setting the stage for the rest of the season, which I'm very excited about. And my friend, for the first time this season, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this evening possible?
Just PG-13 folks, everyone I caught last week, as well as OMG Paints and Velocity RC and a couple of the other folks that picked us up and sponsored us, AMS Oil and American Wheelman, for this year. So thanks to them, and shout out to all the guys that came out from our team today, and I think especially to Colin, because he's been sick all week, and he was just kind of roll it out and park it, just to gather some points and then go back to bed, I think. But he stuck it out to the end, so good job for him.
Awesome. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the rest of the team, and I, for one, am excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, me too. It was fun. Good time.
That was Paul Gibson finishing the top spot for the first time this season. Colin Weatherholt, Matthew Gosh rounding out the top 3, and a great race here at Detroit. The Propane Depot GP delivering all sorts of action. As always, on behalf of the MSR IndyCar Series.net, Racing for Children's, Propane Depot, Nemesis Labs, as well as myself here at Team Goon Squad. Thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting a great cause, a great league, and supporting charity, and I look forward to having you back in the next one. Have a great night, everybody.